Right now at 6, a messy system leads to messy roads. We hear from local leaders about their plans to get the streets cleared before the next round of our 1-2 punch. Plus, amid the ongoing opioid crisis, the Fond du Lac Band has a new effort they hope will save lives. And why Wisconsin's governor wants to reform the state's bail system.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Welcome to the CBS3 News at 6. Across our region, a large winter storm continues to leave its mark tonight. In Duluth, roads have been in pretty poor condition throughout the day as the snow continues to come down. And the Big Lake was also acting up today. Those strong winds we felt stirred up some pretty big waves out there, including here in Canal Park. Good evening, I'm Briggs Savage. Kristen is off tonight. Thanks for joining us. All across our region, snow totals are stacking up, but just as the first round ends, the second round begins. CBS 3's meteorologist Dave Anderson joins us now. Dave, it's still snowing tonight, and we have even more in our future.
Note, as promised by National Weather Service Duluth, all the advisories for our region have expired. So let's get a look at a nice clean map, even if our roads aren't clean yet. Well, now it's come back again. Looks like a winter weather. In the last few seconds, that's popped up. I'll have to investigate what that is. It looks like a winter weather advisory now in effect for a little bit longer. We'll eye that up for you and have it for you in just a couple of minutes. But now let's move on from that. Boy, weather turns on a dime around here. We eye up the current satellite and radar map, which shows the snow is not intensifying. It is still continuing to fade away. But it was pretty vigorous earlier in the day, so our road conditions continue to be, to put it politely, less than perfect. Most roads in our region, Minnesota, Wisconsin, parts of the UP, completely covered and slippery, although south of Duluth, only scattered slippery spots, but that's still treacherous enough. Be careful, same deal over towards the UP there. What are we getting tonight? Tonight, a mostly cloudy sky with a low temp of 0, followed by a high of 25 tomorrow, which is a little bit warmer than normal, but as Briggs mentioned just a couple seconds ago here, another chance for snow comes in the afternoon. It's an 80% chance for Minnesota, 70% chance for the rest of the region. It won't be as impressive as today's, but still a few more inches will fall, and I'll show you the chart for that go-around coming around in just a couple more minutes.
All right, thank you, Dave. Despite a steady flow of snow last night and today, the city of Duluth has not declared a snow emergency. And per their plowing policy, they won't be touching residential streets until the snow stops. CBS 3's Larissa Millis spoke to Duluth residents out clearing away the snow today who say they're frustrated with the city's snow removal approach.
Briggs, as you can see right now, it is snowing, which means the city is not going to be hitting these residential streets anytime soon. Just across the road over there, you can see a residential road, which hasn't been touched by any plows yet, and it won't until likely tomorrow. Right now, plow crews are focused on the city's busiest streets. They're fully staffed, and they've been out since 2 a.m., which is one of the main reasons Duluth hasn't called for a snow emergency. Snow blowers and shovelers that I saw earlier today are used to it, but they say that the city could use some updates. Duluth resident Ryan Meissner planned to spend about 6 hours snow blowing the sidewalks and alleys near his and his neighbors' homes Monday.
My next door neighbor's old, and nobody really has snow blowers, so, I mean, it's just something that I do. It takes forever. I don't enjoy it.
While many residents are focused on their driveways and sidewalks, city plows are focused on maintaining the most traffic streets in Duluth, leaving residents to wait until the snow stops for their streets to be plowed.
We certainly understand that it can be frustrating when people need a shovel out and don't have an off-street parking spot, and at the same time, we just ask for the patience of the city.
Jody Rudd lives in the Indian neighborhood. She says she understands that policy, but says it's still frustrating when people need to get to work.
The thing that is kind of hard for us is both of our cars are parked in the alleyway. And because they don't do that, like ours is definitely like last. It does make it hard for us to like get out.
She also says she's most concerned for those who aren't able to get out and shovel or clear away snow.
I actually feel bad for people that can't get around easily, or like maybe people that they do have mobility issues or elderly people. So I just think if you can, get out and do the sidewalks as best you can, and if you see someone that can't, to help them out.
Matt Meissner says while he understands it's a frustrating situation for many people, he's very appreciative of snowplow drivers.
I think they're doing the best that they can. I think the city council maybe could step up a little bit and allocate money a little bit better.
The city says their three-tiered plowing process has been in place ever since the city created an ice and snow policy, and people should refer to that for all updates about plowing.
All right, thanks, Larissa. Coming up tonight at 10, we'll hear from MnDOT about their process for plowing state roads. Meanwhile, over in Superior, crews have been out all day clearing their roads. The city expects evening commutes to be a little bit slick, but the roads should be mostly clear by now. That's thanks to the extra hands they have on deck, which is usually the case over the holidays. Superior Mayor Jim Payne says people should avoid leaving the house if they don't have to.
You should still stay home if you can. This is a great day to just make some hot chocolate, eat what's left of the Christmas cookies, and let us get the rest of it handled.
This is Superior's first year using GPS trackers on their snowplows, so anyone can now see where the plows are in real time. And on the other side of the border, cars were slipping and sliding near the Blotnick Bridge this afternoon. Around 1:30, several vehicles spun out as they exited from Garfield onto I-535. We don't know yet if anyone was hurt. And the State Patrol says they've been busy as crash numbers pile up across Minnesota. So far statewide, around 230 crashes and more than 200 vehicles off the road have been reported. 26 people were hurt. Luckily, no one has died. Just one flight today out of Duluth was canceled by weather. Several tonight are delayed going to and from Minneapolis. But the true problem today was at the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport, where a system outage forced Sun Country Airlines to cancel all of its morning flights. Travelers were issued refunds, but it posed a big problem for a lot of Gopher football fans heading to Phoenix, where they're playing in a bowl game tomorrow night. Some flights after 8 this morning were able to take off. Duluth just added flights to Phoenix and Fort Myers, but airport officials say today's trips were not impacted. And a reminder tonight that schools may be on holiday break, but other businesses and community services may close in heavy winter conditions. Today, Goodwill Industries, as well as several public libraries, were closed due to the weather. We'll have all that closure information available on our website, CBS3Duluth.com, under the weather section. As the Northland's opioid crisis continues to grow, local treatment groups are hoping to get a life-saving tool in the hands of community members. Tagwee Recovery Center, located on the Fond du Lac Reservation, has hosted a handful of workshops aimed at educating people about how important Narcan is in an overdose. Narcan comes in multiple forms and reverses the effects of an opioid-related overdose long enough that the patient can get to a hospital. According to Carleton County officials, so far they've seen 58 overdose deaths this year. That's an increase from the 43 recorded in the county last year. Leaders at Tagwee say the more Narcan in the community, the more lives can be saved.
We say here that if you know CPR, you should also carry Narcan. I mean, it's just that we're seeing that many overdoses in our community.
If you would like to be trained on how to administer Narcan, we have resources on our website. And coming up tonight at 10, we're taking a deeper look at what is driving the surge in overdoses here in the Northland. Meanwhile, 3 Minneapolis police officers were hurt trying to stop a stolen vehicle on Christmas. The officers stopped the car in Minneapolis. One officer approached the driver's window and another approached the passenger side. The driver suddenly threw the vehicle into reverse and crashed into the officer's squad car. One of the officers was dragged and a passenger in the stolen vehicle got out, was cited, and later released. The driver ran off. 3 officers suffered minor injuries. A Minnesota man who went into a rage after being told to wear a mask has been sentenced. The 61-year-old from Hutchinson pleaded guilty to both first and second-degree assault for the April incident. It happened at a Menards store in the Twin Cities. He's accused of hitting the lumber store employee multiple times in the head with a piece of wood. That was right after the employee would not check him out unless he put on a mask. He later hit an officer on the head with a hammer and dragged him with his truck. He was recently sentenced to a year in prison, 10 years of probation, and community service. Wisconsin's governor says he might support changes to Wisconsin's bail system. It comes under scrutiny since the Waukesha Christmas parade deaths. Governor Tony Evers says he would support raising the amounts that violent offenders have to pay, but he says everyone needs to take a breath and all stakeholders would need to be involved in the discussions. Authorities say a man who allegedly ran over his wife with his SUV drove into the parade, killing 6 people and injuring many others in Waukesha. That was just 2 days after he was released on $1,000 bail. The Milwaukee County District Attorney has said his office's bail request was an oversight. A Pennsylvania man has been charged with murder after a Christmas Eve shooting in the Upper Peninsula. Nicholas Millard is accused of shooting 2 people at a home in Marinesco Township, which is about 30 miles east of Ironwood. A 49-year-old man died, and a 22-year-old man was treated for gunshot wounds at a Duluth hospital. No word yet on what led up to the shooting, but an investigation is underway. Millard's bail was set at $1 million. Still to come on Live Local, CBS 3, the National Weather Service confirmed multiple tornadoes touched down this month in Wisconsin. We'll explain next.
And I got the scoop of that mysterious winter weather advisory that popped up just seconds after everything else was dropped. It's our friends at the Weather Service getting ready for tomorrow. There will be a winter weather advisory for tomorrow afternoon into Wednesday when we get round 2 of our snow. So coming up in a few minutes, I'll take a look at some snow totals from round 1 and some estimates for round 2 before temperatures go tumbling come Wednesday.
Eric Paulson here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
You won't know my dad's name, but big names will stand on his shoulders. He won't solve the world's energy problems or build a house on Mars. But my dad is going to help power all of it because he works at Mediacom, and they're on their way to bringing homes and businesses one of the first 10G broadband platforms. You know, that's the kind of speed dreams are made of.
I got into journalism when I was in high school, actually, and that's where I really fell in love with the news and the storytelling aspect of it, being able to bring those things together and keep people informed. It's so important for us to be in a community like Duluth, to be able to hear your stories and then bring them to everybody else in the community.
Watch Caitlin and Jenna in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m.
Epilepsy can affect anyone with a brain. It does not discriminate.
If you have a brain,
you can get epilepsy. But here's something that's just as important to know.
Anyone with a brain can affect epilepsy.
So let's use our brains to do just that.
Let's change the way people think about epilepsy.
To find cures.
Because if all of us can get epilepsy,
all of us
can end epilepsy.
We just need to use our brains.
Let's use our brains.
Let's use our brains.
Let's use our brains to end epilepsy.
Be a little bit brave. Don't ever be afraid to.
We got a couple questions.
Do you think it's time for schools to reopen?
There is some positive breaking news.
We've got a lot of important new information for you and your family.
A deadly storm system tore through America's heartland. The people of Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, and Tennessee have a long road to recovery. And now it's time for each of us to help heal the heartland. Text HL Tornado to 51555 and donate to the Salvation Army relief efforts. Every donation goes directly to relief efforts in those areas. Learn more at CBS3Duluth.com. Live, local, CBS3, helping heal the heartland. Get your news on the go, the CBS3 mobile app.
All right, let's take a live look at what's going on outside here on the streets of Duluth. Oh, we're looking at our mobile weather lab here as we're cruising down Arrowhead Road. And of course, the road conditions are not perfect. If you have to travel tonight, travel cautiously. About 95% of our roads are still reported as snow-covered and slippery. But with those hard-working road crews, I like to say about those guys all the time, they work really hard and they work until the job is done. So give them some room to breathe, and hopefully by tomorrow's commute, we'll be doing all right. Although tomorrow afternoon, we could be back into the thick of it as round 2 of the snow comes our way. But now let's go in and take a look at round 1 and the snow totals that came across. In general, a lot of towns went 6 to 12 inches, but some exceptions here, according to reports coming in, include 18 inches on the northwest shore of Cass Lake, 17 inches up the hill a little bit inland from Grand Marais, although right by the lake it was more towards 6 inches. Winter, Wisconsin, 14 inches. Lake Nebagamon, 13. Two Harbors, 13 as well. Cable, 12. Minong, 11. Esco, 10 inches. Tomorrow's snow totals may go 2 to 4 for most places, but there could be some exceptions there as well, which we'll point out when we get to our snow estimate chart. But first we start with the current conditions. Duluth International, at least here over the hill, the snow has ended. Current temp is 12. West wind going 22 miles per hour is giving us a wind chill factor, a feels like temperature of 7 below, and the relative humidity, that's 80%. Current temps include 19 International Falls, and 12 around Grand Rapids, 12 down towards Moose Lake as well, and 12 up towards Two Harbors. Wisconsin numbers are running from 10 in Solon Springs to 17 by La Pointe and Superior, and our other communities are in between. Upper Peninsula numbers are among the warmer spots here, 17 to 21, although up the Gunfoot Trail, it's also a little bit warmer, so it's not always colder up there, but it will get colder for everybody by Wednesday. First, we deal with a little bit of light snow still continuing around our region, but with the local Doppler, you can see it's easing up and fading away rather rapidly. Just a couple little thin stripes of flurries still going on, and that includes Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the UP. Of course, today's snow came from a Colorado low that's now starting to migrate more towards the east, and it could pick up a little bit of intensity for snow folks here on the east coast as it cruises across the Great Lakes and picks up a little more moisture. But now we focus our attention first on a low pressure system. That's what will bring us an 80% chance for more snow tomorrow afternoon into early Wednesday morning. That'll be followed Wednesday afternoon by a high pressure system out of Canada that'll clear us up and cool us down. So hey, what do you know? Winter has arrived. How much snow will arrive from our second go-around? It looks like I'm thinking here, about 2 to 4 inches for most towns into early Wednesday morning, though near the Canadian border, 3 to 6 could be possible, and it could go 3 to 6 again up the North Shore. That'll be followed then by a cool down, as I mentioned. So the snow tomorrow should start around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and once we get into Wednesday, it should fade away, and that higher pressure settles in to clear our sky, but knock down the temperatures. Daytime highs only in the single digits above 0 for a few towns, and then that cool down could stay with us for much of the week ahead to start the new year. Tonight in Minnesota, it's a little bit brisk inland in Minnesota, indeed at 5 below, but we could go as warm as 5 above right by the lake. Mostly cloudy sky as the snow fades away, and it should fade away here pretty soon for Wisconsin and Michigan as well. Could be as cool as 3 below towards Cable and Hayward and Trego. As warm as 7 above for Ironwood, Bessemer, and Hurley, Wisconsin. Everybody else in between. Tomorrow, warmer than normal for a few hours in the afternoon. High temps Wisconsin-wise, and Michigan too, 25 to 27. But there's a 70% chance for a couple more inches of afternoon snow. 80% chance in Minnesota with highs inland 16, as warm as 26 by the lake. Eyeing up our extended forecast, the cool down begins on Wednesday, and then it really starts to hit Thursday on through Sunday with low temps, even in the Twin Ports, 10, 12 below, with daytime highs in the single digits. Next Monday, it warms back up again. It dares to go to 13 above after a very mild overnight low, I say that facetiously, of 5 below.
All right, looking forward to that warm-up. Thanks, Dave. The National Weather Service has now confirmed a rare December windstorm spawned 8 tornadoes across west central Wisconsin. The December 15th storm, which was classified as a derecho, swept across multiple states. The storm produced 3 EF2 tornadoes, 3 EF1 tornadoes, and 2 EF0 tornadoes. The EF2s touched down in Clark County and in Stanley, which is in Chippewa and Clark counties. Here's a look at the damage there. Those communities are still cleaning up tonight. So Duncan Goldberg joins us now. Duncan, what's going on in sports?
Yeah, we look back at the Vikings' devastating loss last night to the LA Rams. Plus, a former Duluth Marshall basketball standout continues to shine on the hardwood in the Pac-12.
Stay connected to live local CBS3. Check out our exclusive content on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as our mobile app, and join the conversation on today's big stories.
If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.
At Super One Foods, we go to great measures to deliver you with top quality meat every day. Try our Black Angus T-bone steak for only $8.98 per pound and get 4 ounces of Canadian cold water lobster tail for just $7.97 each. Plus, we provide the best in fresh produce. Get 2 6-ounce packages of fresh blackberries or raspberries for just $5 and get russet baking potatoes for just 33 cents each. Through all that we do, we've got you in mind. Super One Foods, serving you lower prices and better choices.
These days, we're spending more time than ever before at home. Where the perfect pendant can spotlight your newfound skills in the kitchen. Where the right chandelier takes daily dinner from basic to brilliant. And where your decorating choices are all of a sudden illuminated. With Patriot Lighting, your lighting becomes a reflection of your personal style. Modern, sleek, eclectic. Whatever your pleasure, we have hundreds of options to make your home shine a little brighter. Find your style with Patriot Lighting, only at Menards.
I'm Nora O'Donnell in our nation's capital. We're here at the White House with the President of the United States.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
The Supreme Court building behind me is once again at the center of a monumental battle. Tonight, a congressional investigation sparked by reporting from CBS News. Our exclusive access to the presidential platform. We will witness yet another moment in history.
The CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell from Washington, D.C.
I remember my son was going to grow up without a father.
I didn't think someone at 23 could be diagnosed with breast cancer.
I was probably the healthiest I had been in my life.
Early detection of a melanoma saved my life.
I survived testicular cancer because of early detection.
I survived cancer not once but twice because of early detection.
During the pandemic, you may have delayed or canceled routine cancer screenings. It's time to get those appointments back on the books. Early detection saves lives.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear. Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Eric Paulson here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Playoff odds for the Minnesota Vikings are officially at an all-time low after the Vikings fell to the Rams yesterday by a final of 30-23. Minnesota is given just an 11% chance to make the playoffs. Those odds courtesy of 538 as the Vikings sit at 7-8 on the season with just 2 games to go and are chasing the 8-7 Eagles and 49ers for that final playoff spot. And of course, it would help if the Vikings wrapped up the year with a couple cupcake games, but instead, Minnesota heads to Lambeau Field this Sunday to take on the Green Bay Packers in the lovely Aaron Rodgers. But it continues to be hard to move past yesterday's crucial loss to the Rams.
A disappointing loss yesterday. We probably didn't play well enough on all 3 phases. We gave a punt return, which changed a lot of momentum. Obviously, we didn't start very fast offensively and then, or defensively, really. But we just couldn't finish enough plays to win the game.
Kickoff for the Vikings Packers is set for 7:20 at Lambeau Field on Sunday. At long last, the state of hockey will be hosting the Winter Classic. This Saturday, the Wild host the St. Louis Blues at Target Field. Along with the spotlight of the hockey game, the 2022 U.S. Olympic women's hockey team will be announced by current and former Minnesota sports stars, along with a special musical performance by Thomas Rhett. The theme at Target Field will be Lake Winter Classic, featuring pond hockey rinks, a log cabin, pine trees, ice fishing holes, and a makeshift dock that will serve as a stage.
Just such a cool event. The NHL does such a good job putting it on. You know, obviously it'll be a little different now with COVID, with the festivities and stuff beforehand. And for the game I played in, it actually started raining during the game, so you know, you take your visors off, and the ice was really bad. So there's those elements to it, but it doesn't look like we're going to have to deal with rain. So yeah, we'll just try to stay warm, but no, looking forward to it.
There is a forecasted high of 1 and a low of -17 on Saturday in Minneapolis, and if it's below 0, it would set a record for the coldest outdoor NHL game in league history. And even though she's playing basketball on the other side of the country, it feels like we can't go more than a month without talking about Gianna Neepkins. The former Duluth Marshall basketball star has been named Pac-12 Freshman of the Week for the second time this season. Neepkins played 31 minutes against Oklahoma last week and led her Utes in scoring for the third time this year with 19 points. She scored in double figures in 6 of Utah's 11 games, including 4 of the last 5. Neepkins continues to shine as a freshman at the Division I level. And sad news for hockey fans, tomorrow's game in Hermantown between the #1 ranked Hawks and East Grand Forks has been postponed due to weather. Two of the most prestigious hockey programs in the state of Minnesota. The Hawks lost their first game of the season last week to Creighton-Durham Hall. They'll try to get back in the win column on Wednesday.
All right, yeah, that is a big game to be postponed.
Yep, sad.
Big bummer. Yeah, thanks, Duncan. Well, before we go, the holiday season wrapping up, you may be looking for a place to recycle your Christmas tree. In Duluth, the Western Lake Superior Sanitary District sponsors multiple tree cycling locations. They can be found at Lester Park, Chester Bowl, and the Rose Garden, just to list a few of them. January 10th is the last day those sites will be open. And just a reminder, wreaths, stands, garland, and other holiday decorations should be placed in your trash. Well, Dave, hopefully the snow is close to over for many of us tonight.
I think it is winding down rather rapidly, so let's go to the radar and take a look, see if I can prove my point. Now, don't get alarmed that you see blue on the map right now. That is a winter weather advisory, but that's set up for tomorrow's chance of snow. Winter weather advisory tomorrow for much of the region into Wednesday as we get another chance for a couple inches of snow. But you can see that the snow is fading away right now, and it should be smoother sailing tonight. But again, that may only last a couple of hours. Our extended forecast says the chance for the return of snow tomorrow afternoon to the tune of 2 to 4+ inches is 80%. Then it gets clearer but cooler, so we have to pay the piper for that. We'll clear up and get a chance to shovel, but it will start to become brisk as 10 to 12 below for the Twin Ports. Colder inland all the way through Sunday. Maybe by next Monday we warm up just a little.
All right, thanks, Dave. We'll see you back here at 10.